It's been a long time since I've done just a plain mundane video, and I worry that this one might end up a little long, but it's an important video. I'm here to tell you a story. It's kind of funny how something that happened easily 7, 8, I don't even know how long because I don't keep track of dates and times the way some people do, happened, is haunting War. You may remember War, part of the Riders of the Apocalypse. Title was War. Her real name's Rebecca. Haunting her today in her job search. But first I'm going to show you one of my latest projects. It is a stereoscope card. Da-da-da. Yes, that's my art. This is the Ground Fairy Queen. You can currently only see her at DeviantArt, and the picture at DeviantArt is actually kind of old. Asthma attack. Sorry about that. It's kind of old, and the art is, but I brushed it up because I've been wanting to do a special sort of kind of series of art prints for people who like to collect my stuff. And I took a class recently studying stereoscope in Victorian period and learned a lot of really neat techniques and things. It was like a 2-week course, and I bullied through it in like a matter of days. And I'm really excited because some of you don't know, but the Viewmaster, remember the Viewmaster? Well, here's an antique Viewmaster from 1938. Viewmaster is a Victorian art because it is a stereoscope art. This is how it was originally done. You would have 2 pictures side by side, and this is what Viewmaster did, where the picture's on one eye and the picture's on the other eye. And I'm going to be creating some picture series because it turns out that the stereoscope community is still alive and thriving. And I love stereoscope stuff, so I was really excited to learn how to do it and know that outlets for things to do with it are still out there. So I'm going to be doing this. Now, this particular picture series is from a series I have not talked about because I haven't got to work on it often. And it's a series of fairies, and it's like different fairies, different ways of life, kind of like how the old Western photographers, like my great-great-grandfather, would go and photograph the Paiute Indians, and then they'd go over there and photograph the Hopis. And, well, it's kind of like that idea. And so I was just doing the pictures on occasion and just doing them, and now I have an outlet for them. And I'm pretty excited, so let me show off the first attempt. And you have to have special equipment to view it. There's techniques where you can look at this cross-eyed. And there's a thing that Google did to get into it. It's called Google Cardboard. So you can use your cell phone. So I'm pretty excited about that. And there will be like different types of fairies, and almost all of them will come from the bee genus of the animal kingdom. Although I am considering some other insects. And each card is going to have an explanation of how this fairy world that I've had in my head for years works. So I currently, I'm using 3D to do these. Yes, I could hand draw. I know there are those of you that miss my hand-drawn out artwork, but for these, 3D is the best medium, and you guys know I love working in 3D. So the next one that I already had done that I have redone is rendering right now, and it is a honeybee scout, and that's all I'll tell you about that one. But you can see the old version of that on my DeviantArt as well. If you don't know where my DeviantArt is, look for username Spear Carrier. I am the only spear carrier there is. I've noticed that there's somebody else out there taking my name in various spots, but I am the spear carrier, the first on the internet. I am the original. Dun, dun, dun. So I have to say this in public on the internet because it is a matter of clearing up some defamation. And I do mean defamation, which has ironically turned into slander. Now, if you don't know the difference between defamation and slander, defamation of character is when you're saying things bad about somebody that are deliberate lies, and then slander is when you write those lies down. And most of you were not there when I moved from Jacksonville, Florida, up here to this house in Illinois. That was many years ago. And I have been paying on the mortgage to this house ever since because, you know, I'm so unstable. Yeah. And Okay, for those of you who don't get sarcasm, what I'm saying is, for somebody that everybody says is unstable, I'm doing damn good with my mortgage, and I was doing so, paying for 2 places at once even for a while. So, the landlord in Jacksonville, I'm not going to say where the house was. I'm not going to say who she was. I don't remember her name anymore anyway. She's not worth remembering. Okay. Was good at first and for a little while. And even when I lost my job, because I made the mistake of getting a job in one of those places that make it a point not to keep anyone. And you know, for someone that's unstable, out of over 90 people that were hired, I and one woman were the last 2 standing. On my 89th day, they fired me and then put it out that I quit. So again, and she turned into a nightmare. She did. She turned into a nightmare. Our water heater was leaking. She refused to fix it. I had to get friends in to fix it. There were some other things wrong with the house. She refused to fix it. She refused to give me my portion of the deposit back, even though the house was cleaned. And Rebecca cleaned the house, I think it was 8 times with a steam cleaner to make sure it was clean. The roof leaked. She wouldn't fix it. Florida law at the time was that in order for a landlord to give a visit, they had to give a 24-hour notice. She would give me a 10-minute notice. And every time she came over, the house was clean. As a matter of fact, she said one time, and I quote, "Well, Katrina, you've made this place a home." And then I met my husband, and he and I got married. And I gave her a 2-month verbal notice that I was moving. Now, at first, I wasn't going to move. At first, I was going to buy her house. But it wasn't working out. The companies down there weren't working with us. And then we found this house and realized that we liked this house a lot and really went through a lot of trouble to get this house. Because, you know, we're the most amazing, unstable people on the planet. But we bought a house. And this is, I even waited to start packing. And so she's trying to show people the house, and she would give me a 5-minute notice so I didn't have time to get the house clean. There were boxes all over the house from where we were packing, you know, that inevitable mess that happens when you're packing. And so she berated me in front of her possible tenants for keeping a dirty house. This was after a good year or more of being praised for keeping a clean home, mind you. She started bringing her parents in, and they would talk to me like I was scum. And to buy this home, and we wanted to have my name on the mortgage. To buy this home, I had to have an affidavit from her stating that I had never been late with the rent, which I had never been. Thanks to my good friends, I have to say. My 2 roommates, which Rebecca, always gave their share. They were really good about it. And she refused. And I sat on the phone with Rebecca as Rebecca called me to let me know that she was refusing to give the affidavit, and listened to her rant like a crazy woman. And I have to tell you, if that's stability, I think I'm going to stay unstable. Thank you very much to be acting like that, because people say all sorts of drama queen stuff about me, but I've never done that to anybody. And wow. And my friend is currently trying to find a job. She has been in the service. She joined the service months after I moved away. At first she was in the reserves, and then she went full-time and went to Germany for a couple of years. So this wasn't like 1 week she was home, 1 week she was gone away. But, you know, so now she's trying to do references and find a job now that she's out of the military. And by rights, she got a hold of her paperwork to find out what was being said on her when they do her background check. And we found out today that our former landlord is considered a viable source of information. No one's ever cleared me on my side of the story. This is not the first time this problem has appeared. And the former landlord, apparently, now I've got this third hand, but apparently the former landlord had said something along the lines of that I joined the Army and left without giving her a notice. Okay,
you cannot do like in the 50s and 60s or whenever and just kind of walk up to an office and get shipped off that day. That is an urban myth. So that should be a clue right there to the person doing the intelligence interview that this woman is fucking stupid, okay? And I don't know the procedures on that, but it strikes me that if someone is verified as lying, the intelligence report of something attached to them shouldn't even apply to them. And I've noticed that this particular problem has been cropping up a lot over the years, that our governmental structure is running on the belief of rumors. There's a song by Leslie Fish, and it says, do they, you know, if you got to wonder about these people, if they don't know when the truth is real, do they even know it when they lie? And it really, I'm not angry at this petty, small-minded, horrible woman, okay, for lying about me and my roommates. Whatever. This is what I think of that. What bothers me is that these lies were not verified, checked on, and they're in my friend's report, as if this is somehow a reflection on her personality, that this petty person is trying to hurt her. That bothers me, because if this is a common practice, then we have a serious problem that we need to investigate and look in our, info structure. This isn't the first time that this has come about. And the other time, and the last time that an agent came to do a background check on my friend, he came over here, and I confronted him about it because I have been lied about and pushed around so much in my life. I just have no time for this drama anymore of people causing drama and then pointing at me and saying I'm the drama llama. And so I confronted him about it. I was like, you know what? No. Okay. Last time this woman came and she found out I was a comic artist, and she asked if Taos, y'all remember Taos? She asked if Taos was Rebecca, and I said, no, she's me. And the stupid woman didn't even ask, what do you mean? The stupid woman had not a fucking clue. Of course, what I meant was Avatar. Avatars are very common, and people that are not artists use avatars across the internet all over the place these days. So what the fuck kind of stupid people are they sending out to do these fucking interviews? I just don't know. I am really mad. Really mad. I'm really mad that my friend's life is being put on hold and ruined over this, because, this isn't the only bad thing there. I don't know, but she can't find a job. It starts to line up for her, and they talk to her like she's got it, and they start going through the motions, and then they get the report. And then all of a sudden things choke. I don't know what else it says, and to be quite honest, it's none of my business. But I do know that when it's so bad that somebody's life is being ruined to the point that they cannot feed themselves or be independent, okay, because of this drama llama bullshit, then our country has a problem. Because it can't just be my friend going through this. There has to be more than one person going through this kind of drama llama bullshit, this childishness, this, I don't even have another word for it, stupidity. I'm going to be finding out if there is a way that I can write a rebuttal to the statement. Of course, I need to see the statement. But I'm going to find a way, I'm going to verify the statement, find out what it really says, and if it truly is as bad as I have been told, because again, third party. But this isn't the first time it's come out. And, back to when I confronted the agent, he actually didn't deny it. He's like, well, and he got offended, actually, that I was standing up for myself, as if, because, people aren't allowed to stand up for themselves anymore unless they're not white, right? Well, guess what? I'm not white. And finally he said that it really said this, which was really close, by the way, to what I had been told third hand. So I know that the rumor has to be verified from my friend to find out exactly what it said. I would actually need to see the paperwork. But if it truly is as bad as I'm given to understand, then I'm going to see if there's a way I can write a rebuttal. But the point in me telling the world my story is, one, I kind of feel the injustice because my poor friend, she's been looking for a good year or two for a job. Can't find one. It's bullshit. And I genuinely get concerned when I hear that people in power are practicing this kind of stuff. I am not afraid to tell you that I believe in some pretty damn weird things. I believe in UFOs. I've seen some strange things. I read books on ufology. I also study the Mohegan language, do animation, write comics. I'm currently reading this book. Grab your balls, people, because I am reading this book right now. There's a lot of reasons why. One, I write fantasy, people, write what you know. And two, when it comes to ufology, I have seen some things. I have experienced some very frightening things. And I've learned over the years that you can't just walk into something and go, my brains are falling out of my head. Okay, so I tend to approach everything with a, can we verify it or can we disprove it? Because that's what you're supposed to do. It's called the scientific process. Look it up. And I'm not afraid to let you know that, yes, I believe and see a lot of fringe stuff. I have even looked at conspiracy theories and have laughed when some of them that I said, plausible, turned out to be verified not even a year later. I have laughed. But there's other stuff that I've looked at and said, what the fuck? So the point of my story is sometimes a truth just really needs to be told publicly. Sometimes a truth needs to be told publicly as a story, as per tradition. Hey, people. As a lesson. And the lesson here is, if you are someone that is in this kind of position, you need to stop, drop, and roll a little bit. You probably already are. If you're somebody who's actually going to sit and listen to me yammer for more than 10 minutes, probably 20 at this point, you probably are. Thank you for being that kind of person that actually doesn't believe in gossip. And if you ever get in a position to hire people, please stop hiring the people that believe gossip. I have told my story, and it is up to you to find the lesson in it. Now, I'm going to go back to making fairies. Once again, woo! Stereoscope card. Let me show you the nifty box that it came in. Isn't that awesome? And it came with these. It came with some reels. And Wonders of the World. There's one that's Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And it's so cute. They made sculpture dioramas. It's not dolls. It's like sculptures that they can't move the dolls around in, and photographed them. Adorable. And I was already thinking I wanted to try that. So I'm just like, ah! And I have to tell you, there is a Doctor Who parody I am planning for this. And I don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't know how long it'll take it. I do know that I'm covered by parody law. But we'll see. So that's my update, my long-winded update. Now I'm going to go back to work. I have a lot of things to do. Oh, one more thing. Yeah, I know, right? One more thing. If you are on my Patreon account, username Spear Carrier, as I have mentioned in various other places, I have been slowly recording Black Wolf Silver Fox into audiobook form. I am going to be putting up chapter 1 in just a few hours for only Patreon members, paying Patreon members to hear. And I might do that throughout the entire book. It depends. So far, doing this is a real learning experience. I am currently even taking a free class with Coursera on voiceovers, which, as y'all know, I already do voiceover acting, and I've been wanting to improve my skills anyway. But, so I've learned a little bit about equalization and have applied those skills rather poorly, but still I'm doing my best. So if you're on my Patreon account, I highly recommend that you listen to the chapter, give me some feedback, tell me what I did wrong, tell me where I can improve, tell me if it's good enough for me to try to improve in chapter 2, and leave chapter 1 alone. And finally, that did. I'll talk to y'all later.